Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Fantastic Short Story Society, where Scott Marcus and I review a trailer. I love watching trailers. And because we're in the middle of the summer when we're recording this, what better to do than a maybe summer blockbuster? We don't know if this is going to be a blockbuster yet, but it's for the purposes of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Twister, the original Twister from 1996 was one of these movies that it did really big box office back in the day because it was such a visual spectacle. And it was, I think, a fun ride. Wasn't taken very seriously. Felt like a summer popcorn picture that was just going to disappear. But I think it found a cult following over the years.
Yeah. Well, there's a huge cult following, I guess you could call it, in the storm chasing community. I mean, you've been kind of in that community a little bit. You've been a fan of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I wanted to find a space. So this is perfect to say hi to a friend, Jenny Fumarolo, because she, like me, weather nerd, big time weather nerd. I wanted her to surprise us and jump on this one, but she was not able to. But she's, first off, an amazing production coordinator. She's got 2 interviews on our Industry Pro page on with the ISA. She's worked on huge movies. But she and I will text each other to say, hey, check it out. So-and-so is broadcasting there in the Oklahoma Panhandle right now. This video is wild.
Oh, my God.
So we will live vicariously through these live streaming storm chasers through an app. And let each other know what feed we should be watching. We love this kind of stuff.
God, how funny! I am interested in it, I guess, in weather, But after living in LA for so long, I never use my weather app. Now that I live in the Midwest, it's literally one of the main icons that I have on my front of my phone. Look at it all the time. As I was driving back from Los Angeles, I was in LA for about a month and a half, and I'm now back in Wisconsin. But I was Nebraska or Iowa. They kind of blend after a while. I saw one of those storm chasing cars. They had all these, mechanics all over it. And it said some kind of funny little thing. And my immediate thought was, don't follow those guys.
Wherever they're going.
Why are you on this road?
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's not uncommon to see them coming through Wisconsin where I am too, where we are now. Yeah, I've never officially gone. I have kind of when I was a young driver, which is exactly the best time you want to be putting yourself into the most danger when you're a younger and experienced driver.
Yeah, right.
But before you have all of the cell phones and the live feed, just using the weather radio, trying to find where the storm is and where something cool might be happening. Weather photography. I loved all that stuff when I was younger.
Man.
And then sadly got away from it when, living in LA or even Hawaii, where there's just not that kind of weather anymore.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there's something electric about it. No pun intended with lightning, but
I think so. To get back to the movie, it's an interesting comment that you made. And I didn't really even think about this. I haven't really given that much thought to Twisters. I'm excited it's coming out. I'm probably not going to go to the theater to see it, but it is one of those movies that you should see in the theater.
Right.
I'm assuming. But you mentioned that back in '96, it was such a visual spectacle, and the visual spectacle movies were so much more popular. Now that audiences have become so used to visual spectacles, especially on TV. I wonder how much of a draw that is, because has it been too long? Almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Are you going to draw the same people? I don't know. I have a little bit of prediction that it's not going to do all that great, but box office has actually been pretty good this summer. I think because of just the general content, you'll probably draw some folks in, it's a very middle America type of movie.
Totally. Yeah. So many middle America people, you don't need a star because the star is the weather, maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder. That's a guess.
Right.
Because it doesn't have, I don't think, really the bigger name people behind it. I'll just share the IMDb right now since I got it up.
Yeah.
By the way,
I've heard their names. I'm sorry. You love what?
Oh, just how the IMDb page is all designed like this. I'm very curious to see. I think this is a continuation of the story too, but I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, Anthony Ramos, not exactly household names, I would say, for most people. But yeah, we can take a quick look at the. It's not exactly a log line, whatever the blurb description.
Yeah, it's a basic kind of premise. A retired tornado chaser and meteorologist is persuaded to return to Oklahoma to work with a new team and new technologies. $200 million budget. Oh my goodness.
It's going to be. There's a a high threshold to overcome to be profitable. Tornadoes exist other places, but not to the extent that they do in America. So I'm curious what the appeal will be globally.
Yeah, true. And because the spectacle movie just isn't, it's normal now. People kind of expect that.
Right.
It'll be interesting. The funny thing is, with a lot of the trailer reviews, like with Ghostbusters and stuff, I've been more interested in thinking, oh, what's the story going to be? With this one, I don't care.
Well, and then speaking of the story, I don't know if we're getting very much from that blurb. I mean, we get a little bit, but I don't know at all how it attaches to the original film.
Right. It'll be interesting to see if the trailer throws something in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. But speaking of, we always like to look at the creators. The director there, Lee Isaac Chung, he's directed an episode of The Mandalorian, but really nothing else that seems big the way this is big. So that's exciting. That's interesting.
Yeah. And one of the writers, Mark Smith, wrote The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio, The Midnight Sky. I don't know that one. Seance in 2006. Nice. We should get him on as a guest.
And Boys in the Boat, which was directed by George Clooney, that came out in the last year. There's just a lot of oomph, I guess, when you look at the writing team as opposed to the director. No offense to the director, he's just not as established, but these writers have done some big things, including Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick. Amazing. Right. Tron Legacy, Oblivion. But I was looking at his IMDb earlier, and I love this journey because it was not long ago that he did Taco Bell, Web of Fries. And then Top Gun Maverick, what a journey.
Oh my God. That just proves that the IMDb is solid, but you don't really know how the amount of context these people have and the various non-credited work they're doing. And, because you're going to have to earn that.
Absolutely. And that's not to diminish anything else, because he has, Gears of War, Gatorade. So he was doing very stylistic, very visual things, very action-packed productions, miniature productions. They're 30, 60-second commercials, but I'm sure he's making them short films, and knowing how to execute on all these different levels.
Right. Yeah.
And then you expand it out. You hopefully met a lot of people and have a good team of creators that you trust to work
at the same time, though. Like, we've got Oblivion, Tron Legacy, Gears of War. I mean, those are pretty big movies.
Absolutely.
You might have just taken a break there for a while.
Well, and you got to pay the bills. And commercials can do that. But a lot of people go from the commercial world to working in film.
Yeah.
And again, this is a natural progression, in my opinion. But it's exciting to see how somebody's career has progressed as well.
Yeah. So it's a Universal movie, both production company and distributor. So it's one reason you have a $200 billion movie. Ironically, I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV. A lot of the TV I watch is streaming anyway, so I'm not going to be seeing those commercials. I have not seen that much in terms of promotions for this, even just on social media, et cetera. I haven't seen that much.
Yeah, no, part of me was trying to avoid it so that we could record it. However, the first trailer dropped during the Super Bowl. So they had a really big ad buy up front for this. Right. I haven't seen the exposure, since February, whenever the Super Bowl was. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So this is interesting to see. Somebody else put this together. This is just the current and the previous poster side by side. I got to say, I mean, it's interesting that the actors' faces, you don't see them in the new one. You do see Helen Hunt, Jackson in the older one. But
I only see one Twister. It's called Twisters.
Right. Continuity problem. Yeah. So I don't know. Same type of thing. Chase, ride, survive. That I don't know if I'm getting a lot out of that. There seems to be more excitement in the original poster, I think.
Don't breathe, don't look back. I like that a little bit better. What is it? The dark side of nature. Yeah. And honestly, that picture of the Twister in Twister seems like that's a real photograph. Like I get a sense that this is real, but then the Twisters one, I'm like, it's CGI. I mean, that is probably what they look like, but it doesn't look that real.
Interesting. No, that's a good point. And I don't know. I wonder if there's a certain level of brand identification already, because there is one, again, even though it's so old, that they feel the marketing side feels they have to try as hard to sell this because, hey, you all know Twister. We're just doing another one of those.
Maybe. God, I don't know what's going on with some of these marketing people, but we'll see what they're doing with the trailer here.
Dodge whatever's in there. It's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go.
Who are they honking at?
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself the Tornado Wrangler. If you feel it, chase it! I said if you feel it, chase it!
I hope I'm supposed to not like it.
Oh, she's perfect!
She's gorgeous.
You thought you could destroy a tornado.
We never had a chance.
You want one? You don't face your fears. You ride them.
We got twins! Twins!
Is that it? Nope.
Okay.
I'm more excited about it now.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just hope that there's no dialogue throughout the entire movie.
I know. I mean, it was some of the most cliche. It's an action movie, so you have to expect some of it. But
Cowboy hat. I don't know what he was yelling at them. It's just like, okay, come on. The opening part was really cool. I liked that. That was fun. And then I bet the sound design is incredible.
Oh gosh, yes.
And it did look much more real and stuff.
Yeah, there was that aerial shot, almost like a helicopter looking down into a small town city downtown, and it really reminded me of, I can't remember exactly where it was, but the place that we drove through last summer.
Yeah,
it had just been hit by a tornado.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it is a scary thing, and there are a lot more of these things happening. More often, which is not fun. I mean, I can't remember what the stat was, that about 2 days before I drove back home to Wisconsin, there were 5 tornadoes that touched down just within a 10-mile radius of my current hometown, which is ridiculous. Yeah. And then the number of tornadoes that had touched down for the year, like far surpassed last year's. I don't know, man. I hope it doesn't get worse. But like, real people are being hurt by these things.
Yeah, you hope they don't glorify it to a point that everybody wants to get out there and run after these. That was something that I know a lot of storm chasers talked about with the original Twister, is that they were really happy with how it did a good job of showing that this is something that's really, a terrifying thing, that it needs more funding, it needs more research, so that we can have warnings with more lead time to give people a chance to get to safety. One of the questions, though, for me was, what is going to be the story here? And they teased it a little bit with trying to destroy a tornado.
Destroy the tornado, but then there was also, it seemed like there was a prologue of some kind where the actress was like a younger version of herself, and maybe and I don't know what the relationship is between the two of them. The Glenn Powell actor seemed quite a bit older than the girl, and I was like, ooh, that's a little, I don't know about that.
Right.
But yeah, destroy a tornado, but then we don't necessarily see in the trailer how they're attempting. I thought those were just sensors in terms of reading the tornado.
That was, going back to the first one, Dorothy was the nickname for that device that put all of these sensors that go into it, which was the goal of the first one. Also, if you're talking about someone having an encounter young, and then that leads them on their path, that's exactly how the first Twister happened as well, with little Helen Hunt in the storm cellar, and her dad gets sucked out of the door.
But now that I remember the original Twister, it was a good movie. I don't know, it felt good. The story was right. I liked the characters. Not all that enticed by the characters in this one.
I'm glad with the original Twister, they didn't overdo this, but they had kind of like a rival team that was better funded. There was the rich kids on the ski slopes. You know,
saw that a lot in the 90s. So much.
Right. Yeah. And it was Carrie Elwes, who's amazing always. But I'm glad they didn't really hit that too hard, like the whole story was about that rivalry. But I was starting to hope that something was going to develop like that here, just because I didn't want that guy to be our main hero. He just didn't seem likable to me. I thought he was on purpose supposed to be a douchebag.
I know, right? I know. Oh God. Well, we are not here to critique too hard. I don't know if I'm all that like enticed to go see it necessarily, but I bet it would be fun. I would probably need to bring some Dramamine. I don't do well in, theaters like that.
Oh yeah, no, this one will be a wild ride, I'm sure. And I think I would see this in theaters, especially if we can get like IMAX with the Atmos sound, that kind of thing. You'd really be in it.
I would not be able to do that, man. I would be, oh God. Which is ridiculous. I work in the film and television industry, and I can't go to a movie theater without getting sick. It's like pure irony.
What a typical executive.
Well, let us know what you think. Tell us your thoughts of that trailer. You don't have to agree with us. You don't have to disagree with us. We legitimately want to know what you think. This is part of our fun little fantastic short story society videos. We're going to get back into regular interviews in the near future, of course, once the spooky Halloween season starts running around. That's it, everybody. Let us know what you think. We're going to be back with more trailer reactions. If there's a movie that you want us to review, trailer you want us to watch, put a little post in the comment, and of course, like, subscribe, and all of that fun stuff. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching.